A roar echoed across the grasslands, and instantly, the entire savanna held its breath. This was not a lone hunt. This was a battlefield between two of the most powerful forces in Africa, a pride of lions, armed with steel-like claws and sharp team strategies, versus African buffaloes, fearless giants with bulging muscles and a fierce will to fight for their calves. In nature, the strongest do not always win. Sometimes a single wrong decision can cost blood. In today's video, you are about to witness one of the most intense and unpredictable clashes between buffaloes and lions. Who will be the hunter? Who will become the hunted? And will there be a stunning twist at the end? Do not take your eyes off the screen, because this brutal battle is just getting started. On the sun-scorched, dry grass, every roar that echoes is a signal of the top predator's presence. Lions do not hunt to show off power. They hunt to survive. In their world, energy is a precious resource, and group hunting is the most efficient way to conserve it. A healthy lion pride usually consists of 10 to 15 individuals, but the number can go beyond 40 if food and conditions are favorable. Within the pride, roles are clearly divided. The males take on the duty of protecting the territory, while the more agile females are in charge of locating, selecting, and surrounding the prey. This is not just a chase. It is a textbook example of intelligent coordination among highly social predators. Behavioral studies show that lionesses often use the terrain, such as low mounds, bushes, or rocky outcrops, to conceal themselves and get close to their targets. Once everyone is in position, they form a crescent-shaped formation to cut off the prey's escape routes, forcing it to make split-second decisions under pressure. This approach not only increases their chances of a successful kill, but also conserves valuable energy for the whole pride, a critical factor in the harsh wilderness. Lions can reach short bursts of speed up to 50 miles per hour, and their bite force measures around 650 pounds per square inch. That is enough physiological power to subdue large animals. However, success does not come from brute strength alone. It comes from precise teamwork. A group of 4 to 5 lions working in perfect sync can take down a target weighing nearly 1 ton in just a few minutes, but this is not a regular occurrence. Field studies show that coordinated hunts like this only succeed about 30 to 36% of the time, depending on natural conditions and how the prey reacts. When they fail, the consequences are significant. Prolonged hunger weakens their physiological functions, affecting both reproduction and social behavior within the pride. Many groups are forced to travel dozens of kilometers each day, which is around 20 to 30 miles, in search of another chance. This drains their strength and increases the risk of running into rival lion groups or even other predators like hyenas or African wild dogs. In stark contrast to the lion's active hunting style, the African buffalo represents a model of organized and enduring defensive survival. Despite lacking weapons like sharp fangs or explosive speed, buffaloes possess 3 standout survival traits: immense body mass, a body structure built to endure, and an extraordinary ability to respond as a group. In harsh environments, a typical herd of buffaloes ranges from 50 to 200 individuals, but in areas with abundant vegetation and water, that number can exceed 1,000. The sight of hundreds of buffaloes moving together across grasslands, muddy fields, or even crossing rivers is a vivid testament to seasonal organization and migratory strength, core elements that help maintain ecological balance and replenish food sources. An adult buffalo can weigh over 2,000 pounds and is equipped with thick, curved horns and a solid auto, massive fused horn at the forehead called a boss, which acts like natural armor. This allows them to withstand frontal attacks and protect the brain, the most vulnerable part of the skull. Unlike many herbivores that instinctively run when threatened, buffaloes have evolved an active defensive behavior. When one individual is in danger, vocal and physical cues are quickly communicated throughout the herd. Larger buffaloes immediately move to the outer ring, forming a natural protective wall, a defensive formation that ecologists call positional interweaving. At wildlife reserves like Kruger or Serengeti, documentary cameras have repeatedly captured buffaloes working together to rescue a member under attack without needing any signal from the lead individual. These actions show that herd protection is not just a reflex, it is a socially evolved behavior rooted in group survival. Tests measuring the impact of a buffalo's headbutt show forces exceeding 10,600 pounds. comparable to a motorcycle crash at high speed. When coordinated, buffaloes can launch synchronized actions like driving predators backward, forming circles around calves, or splitting into two groups to distract the attacker. Statistics show that buffalo calves in herds are 3 times more likely to survive than those separated from the group. This not only highlights the importance of communal living strategies, but also reinforces a core principle of wild ecosystems. No individual is strong enough to survive alone, but a united herd can completely change the outcome of a confrontation that once seemed hopeless. When two complex social structures collide in the wild, one being a group of highly strategic predators, the other a defensive herd with refined group instincts, the outcome does not simply depend on numbers or individual strength. It becomes a test of tactical thinking, the ability to interpret communal signals, and how well each side can adapt to the environment. Wildlife reserves across Africa have offered countless vivid examples showing that in nature there is no absolute ruler. At Malamala, 3 lionesses managed to bring down a full-grown male buffalo, but immediately afterward, they were forced to fight back against a synchronized counterattack from the herd, along with a male lion who showed up to claim a share. The buffalo's rotating defensive formation forced the lions to constantly reposition themselves to maintain the upper hand, creating a biological chain reaction of guarding, controlling, and retreating. In the Serengeti, another scene revealed how buffaloes can fully unleash their collective counterattack mechanism. A pride of lions launched a coordinated assault, but they were quickly driven back in just a few minutes. A horseshoe-shaped defense formation created by the adult buffaloes completely collapsed the lion's strategy. This was not just instinct, it was the result of behavioral evolution under environmental pressure. In the Maasai Mara, a lone male lion faced what seemed like the perfect target, a buffalo calf. But in less than 30 seconds, the adult buffaloes had formed a mobile defense line that closed in from multiple directions, forcing the lion to retreat before suffering serious injury. Behavioral biology experts consider this a prime example of signal-based group counter tactics, a strategy herbivores have developed to neutralize predators' advantages. These cases emphasize a vital truth. In the wild, survival is not determined by brute force, but by cooperation and real-time decision-making. Clash between these two species ultimately represents a perfect example of biological balance, where every decision carries life or death consequences and helps shape the evolutionary behavior of the entire population. The animal kingdom has proven one universal principle: no species can survive on individual strength alone. Every confrontation, every biological response is a link in the long evolutionary chain where the victor is not the strongest, but the one who best understands how their community and ecosystem operate. If you enjoy learning about nature and the animal world like this, make sure to hit subscribe so you will not miss any of our future survival and science videos. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this journey. We will see you again in our next exciting exploration.